Bernie Sanders held a rally in Denver, 34,000 people. That is very impressive. That's probably copyright music, so you're just going to have to do with my voiceover. Look at that. And they had the money to shell out for a drone? Wonderful. According to Bernie, and I'm inclined to believe him, the largest crowd that he ever had back in 2016 was around 28,000 people. Back in 2019, his largest crowd was around 26,000. This is the largest crowd he's ever received for anything, and he's not running. He's not running for anything. How? Well, I could be wrong on this, but I think that the runners of this event still playing music? No, we're not. I believe the runners of this event said that a lot of the people who attended weren't even Bernie voters. This isn't actually about, like, the progressive left versus moderate Democrats. This is Democrats who want Democrats to do something versus Democrats who don't. Like, this is action versus inaction. You know, this is about a much broader and more essential question than, like, do you think Medicare for all should be implemented? Which I do, and which everyone should, obviously, because we're not stupid here. And the youtube.com/c/Vosh channel, thank you. But in this moment, I think Bernie Sanders is very successfully wedging himself to be not just the progressive candidate, but also the only one willing to do anything, right? It's a very smart move for him, not just as like a political candidate, but also as an ideology, associating progressivism, like leftist economic and political policies, with action versus liberals' inaction. I mean, it's pretty big, right? Oh, look at that. He's live now. He has been killing it, man.
Yeah, if you're a conservative Republican or a progressive, does anybody think it makes sense that we have a campaign finance system where one man, Musk, can put $270 million to get Trump elected, and then his reward is that he becomes the most powerful person in government? That is not democracy. That is oligarchy.
He is definitely teeing up AOC, which is wonderful to see. You know, passing the torch. Obviously, AOC is quite young. Oh, this is the most recent video. Okay, here, wait, hold on. Let me get a little bit from that rally, the Denver rally. Not just a little drone flyby, but something more substantial. Oh, there's the whole thing on MSNBC. Good get.
My client. Politics.
I know her.
And really?
Oh, that was in Denver, different rally than I saw. Dude, they have been, like, touring. They have been doing so much. They're doing a rally right now. The Denver rally was, what, 2 days ago? I think it was, yeah, 2 days ago. They've been going all up and down the place. They're touring the way, like, a president running would be. It's, you know the whole socialism or barbarism thing? One of the important things to understand is this, okay? The idea that when you fight for stuff like Medicare for all or decommodified housing or better welfare protections or whatever, a lot of people see these, incorrectly, they see these as deliberate affirmative steps towards something that may be good but is largely unnecessary. In reality, the internal contradictions of the system that we live in condemn all of us to our graves unless we do something about it, you know? It's like you're in a boat that's heading towards you're on a river and you're heading towards a waterfall, and someone's like, well, we got to pedal the boat over that way to those shallows where we can stop the boat. And you're like, well, I don't know, we're moving right now and things are fine. You got to understand the waterfall is right the fuck over there. It's you don't have the choice. If you don't have a solution, I know why, but why isn't Kamala Harris I gotta get a good night's sleep is what I gotta do, man. This shit is affecting me too. Maybe I really am the spirit of the country. Maybe I am the most American man. How is it that when this country starts dying, I immediately, like, my brain falls apart? I need to start doing, like, yoga or acupuncture, or I need to tape my mouth when I sleep and dunk my head in ice water 5 times a day. Kamala Harris fucking hates you and wants you dead. That's my explanation for it.
And I want to thank the entire state and each and every one of you for else. Because in this house, we stand together.
And anyone who speaks out against them.
Look, the point that I'm making is that, you know, there's you can never enter the same river twice, right? There's no such thing as an indefinitely stable system. Everything changes. It's like saying you can preserve a culture. No, you can't. Culture is always changing, no matter what. People live and people die. Things will always progress. You choose which direction they progress towards. If you allow the internal contradictions to mount in such a sense that people grow increasingly dissatisfied with the establishment, the do-nothing government, the do-nothing system, the fact that everything seems to be getting worse all the time, in large part because of rampant capital accumulation on the top, people will be easily led down the road to fascism by those same capital holders because it allows them to protect their interests. You need to actively push the country in the right direction. So by associating progressivism and action taking, I think this is like the best possible move, you know? It's not just about, well, do you think our healthcare should be improved? It's fighting for the soul of civilization. It's fighting for life itself. And this is going to boost AOC's popularity quite a bit. See a legitimization of her beyond, obviously she's always had a close connection with Bernie, for obvious reasons. But this goes beyond that. I mean, this touring that they've been doing need to cement in the minds of, I guess, the average Democrat that this is really the only avenue forward. Plus, I just like seeing them be friends. I heard on Twitter that DSA was being really well received outside the Denver rally. They set up a stall. Well, that's good to know. I mean, yeah, sure. Take what good you can get, right? That is a shiny dome. Look at that. Beautiful. Bernie, they could never make me hate you, even if you're wearing the wrong shoes. I'm kind of cynical the Democrats would learn anything from this. Some might, but if the rest don't, they just need to be primaried. Like, it's whether or not the individuals in the party learn this is irrelevant, you know? Well, I wouldn't say it's irrelevant, but like history moves forward without them. Let them be consigned to the dust, you know? We will bury them, etc., etc. We need to be really aggressive with them. Really aggressive. I think somebody in chat a little bit ago encouraged or said that Bernie Sanders was encouraging people to run as independents. Yeah, here we go. Bernie Sanders has an idea for the left. Don't run as Democrats. Honestly, like Democrats, like the party of the Democrats might be so toxic right now that in some areas, running as an independent could actually do better with both sides. Probably a good idea. I mean, he did it. Though he is a pretty special case. It was the Hassan interview. I forgot they did that. Yeah. Hassan met AOC and Bernie in person. Part of their little, campaigning tour included a stop. He got to talk to him. Pretty cool. It was too short but good. Well, they're busy people. When is he meeting you? I would never do that to him. 3-day, 5-city swing through western states. God damn, I don't know where he finds the energy. Mrs. Clinton, during an interview with Politico in 2016, described Mr. Sanders as, quote, a relatively new Democrat, and in fact, I'm not even sure he is one. She added, he's running as one, so I don't know how quite to characterize him. I'm a Democrat, Mr. Biden told reporters outside a Dairy Queen in Pella, Iowa. He says he's not. He says, he's not registered as a Democrat to the best of my knowledge. Those are true statements. There's so much of a, insider bias within the Democrats. It's sickening. You see the way they treat Bernie Sanders. And I think to a normal voter, by the way, Bernie being an independent senator and then running as a Democrat for the presidency, this should be no biggie. You don't even commit a thought to it. So he's running. Okay. But to them, it's like a breach. It's a betrayal of that insider bias that they enjoy, where actually, you're selected from within the group, chosen to be a potential leader. Vosh, you can cope all you want, and I hate the Dems too, but the left can never win an election in the next 25 years. I know you want to be Rick Sanchez and preempt the optimism with a bit of like wise cynicism, but you have to wait for the right prompt, because I didn't say anything about the left winning an election. I don't know what you're like. You're trying to get ahead with the doomer pill, but you're swallowing it before like the punch has even been served. You know what I mean? Like, you're falling on the sword, but everyone else is still like in the locker room slapping each other's asses. You're getting at it too quickly. It shows desperation on your part. What do you mean the left can't win? You mean the presidential? Because left candidates win. I mean, Bernie Sanders wins the Senate seat and has for decades. So I don't know what you mean by like can't win. Morty, I turned myself into a doomer. I'm Doomer Rick. Yeah, that was good. It was even better when I did it in my phenomenal impression. You like that? Was that good for you? Here, let me get a look at this. I didn't see this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs, we have Bernie Sanders and AOC in the
AOC
building.
is so damn cute.
You guys are about to go
I appreciate tagging both of them like this.
up and speak at one of another one of the rallies that you've been doing, the Fighting Oligarchy tour, and I'm very excited to have you here. Vegas specifically for me has a lot of importance, because I always say it's like the last time that I felt really hopeful about the future of this country, because I was outdoor knocking for you along with the Chapo boys as well in the primaries.
And we did pretty well, huh?
Yeah, and everyone kept saying, oh, the Culinary Union is not going to vote, but the rank and file very clearly was swinging in your direction, and in spite of the media attacks, you obviously pulled through, and then COVID, and then all hell broke loose, obviously, and here we are. You don't have a lot of time, so, and I'm sure that we'll get to talk a little bit more in the future as well, but I went to Japan recently, and I got both of you guys gifts. I actually have a little gift for you, but unfortunately I don't have your gift, the actual gift here. Hold on. This one's for you. This is a Palestinian movement in Japan.
Thank you.
Solidarity with Palestine. And this is a little train for public transit. I have a Japanese Communist Party pin for you as well.
Not to say I would do a better job as an interviewer, but I would have given them raw Japanese denim. I'm just saying, okay? I would have gone to Studio de Artisan. I would have taken their measurements. I would have gotten them the sugarcane, raw denim. I'm just saying.
Well, but unfortunately, because I went over there and I checked out their headquarters, but what are you guys trying to accomplish with these rallies? Let's get started.
I mean, I think that what the kind of moment that we're in, and also something that Trump was able to exploit, was really practicing, even though he doesn't believe in working class politics, they had a very focused working class strategy. And I think for a while, like, Democratic Party clearly wasn't effective at that, wasn't successful at that. And I think one of the things that we're here to do is to actually rally a class conscious movement to bring people together and to show that we can fight for a better future, not in marginalizing and attacking people, marginalized people, but actually in rejecting the differences that we have to come together in common cause and to organize folks.
You know, Zigabiz, I do think that AOC being a young woman is a big nerf to her in terms of her political viability, at least in the immediate future for running outside of her district. I will say, though, and I've thought about it a little bit more, I still think that would be a huge nerf to her in the presidency, at least right now. But I think that one of the things she has going for her, and I apologize for just referring curtly to pre-existing sexist biases against women, she doesn't come across as an insincere bitch the way that Clinton and to an extent Kamala Harris do. Just speaking frankly, like Hillary Clinton, obviously, I don't need to elaborate further on that, but I think that Kamala Harris, I think that people get more infuriated by insincerity from women, especially, well, misogynists, obviously, because they can't write it off as a kind of like targeted Patrick Bateman-esque masculine ego insincerity that you see through because you're in on the game, but some other rubes are falling for. It's like how every Trump supporter is aware of the fact that he's a con man and a liar, but they all think they're in on the game. That's how people who like Trump convince themselves that they're in on the game. Like that's how they reconcile that belief, by the way. They don't think that Trump is truthful all the time. None of them think that. They think that he's selectively truthful and they get to interpret their statements to mean whatever they want them to mean. And they think that they're the ones who have that, like, you know, the Sears glasses that allows them to see like what he actually means, and other people are falling for it. They don't see the joke. They don't see what's meant to be a play or a bluff or whatever else. Only they can see it, you know?
Well,
and what I'm saying is people don't extend that same privilege to women. Thankfully, AOC does come across as like incredibly earnest and sincere, right? Like it's kind of like a component of her both actual and perceived youthfulness. So I don't know, maybe that would kick it.
I agree. To me, this country faces the worst set of crises that we have faced in a very, very, very long time. We are looking at a nation which is now oligarchic. And they don't hide it. I mean, I must give them credit for that. You know, they're out there. Mr. Musk, the richest guy in the world, is running all over the place, cutting veterans the needs of...
Well, we know the talking points. You can see this on Hassan's channel if you would like to. Thank you. This is the thing I was referring to. Sanders told me half the RSVPs for these rallies are not from their very large supporter list. The more normie Democrats get in there, the better. They'll call her a little girl and make fun of her for being a bartender. They're predictable. Yeah, sure, okay. But, like, it's not as though there's any Democratic candidate they could possibly field that wouldn't be derided and mocked and so on and so forth. That is true. People actually do like bartenders. They're a liked worker demographic. Why do you think Tim Walz isn't very close with Bernie and AOC? They should join forces. Haven't their interactions been positive? I'm pretty sure that every time I recall them interacting, they've been positive towards each other. I don't think they're not in the same block, you know, for a variety of reasons. Part of it is that Tim Walz is governor and not a member of Congress. Part of it is the fact that, you know, Tim Walz was associated with a recent presidential campaign and was elevated highly by it, which means that, you know, there are different pressures and expectations placed on him. I don't think that he's, like, against them. They did a joint rally today? Oh, well, there you go. Was it today? I don't see it today. Tim Walz in quotation marks. Was it today? When I just saw him 2 hours ago? Yeah, I don't know if they've been together. I know Walz is touring. He is touring right now. I don't know if they've done a rally together. I think somebody in chat just said that. How do you feel about Walz possibly running? Look, I like Walz, but I genuinely think that we need somebody who's more mean and vindictive. This was my, like, I think that Walz is good, like, supportive energy. Like, I do think he works well as a VP, but I think that you need, like, an actual fucking psychopath to be the, like, the presidential candidate, you know? We need a fresh start. It's sad, but he's tainted now. He might be a viable VP in the future if he is able to completely trash Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I know that's probably not going to happen, but if he was ever given, like, the leeway, if he was ever given, like, the leverage to just dunk on them, I think that would be the energy that we would need. Though I don't know if that would work. I'm just saying, like, I think that would be necessary to get rid of the baggage, or at least address it. So, like, Trump had leftist populism instead. Trump didn't invent being a cutthroat politician. It was normal for hundreds of years until, like, the 1970s for the Democrats. Literally, like, for like all of American political history, for the most part, politicians were aggressive ideologues who would, you know, they were cutthroat. They would fight for what they wanted, and then fucking Jimmy Carter got Ronald Reagan, neoliberalism, neoconservatism, and then it all got fucked up. You take a look at the shit FDR was saying. LBJ was the last time a Democrat was allowed to have a dick in the presidency. And what a dick. Or so I've been told. Yeah, this is how politicians used to talk.
Now listen, you queer. Stop calling me a crypto Nazi. Let's stop calling names. You in your goddamn face, and you'll stay plastered.
That's good. I still talk like that. I still have that sauce. Thomas Jefferson called John Adams' mother a hermaphrodite, FYI, literally the second election in the United States. I would prefer that to what we've got going on right now, 100%. I would much rather have, like, an insane, like, I don't know, Balkan tier shit show of fiery politicians going, like, absolutely apeshit in each other than the, like, play nice bullshit that Democrats still adhered to, that Republicans adhered to up until Trump, like the British Parliament screaming. Yeah, well, the problem with that is that it's all performative. Because the British politicians are totally do nothing, you know? You think we'd actually be better off if Trump won in 2020? Yes. And yeah, I've seen the I've seen what Tim Walz has been doing. I still just think he needs to be more of a psychopath. A lot of it's written onto his face. He just looks like a nice person, you know? I really think we need like it's not a fair criticism. I like Tim Walz, you know? He does have big, nice grandpa energy. He needs a teardrop tattoo. Yeah. Would a psychopathic VP work? No. I want a psychopathic president.